K9BQ monitoring.
KD7 CYM testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good evening. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. The Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts that take to the airways with fast scan television. We have a repeater located up on Cougar Mountain. We transmit on 70 centimeters. It's a crossband repeater. It spits out images at 1.2 gigahertz. To find out more about the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, Google WW7ATS. That's Google WW7ATS. That will take you to our home page. There you will find a little information about our club, the frequencies we transmit on, and also you'll find a link where we stream our nets to YouTube. Also, we'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association. SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08, and the Cougar facility utilizes a 103.5 tone for our voice transmissions. So with that, this is Dave, KD7CYM, pausing in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact on the 08 machine before our net gets fully underway. Again, this is Dave, KD7CYM. Hearing none, welcome to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net. Again, I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Already checked in by video is Ron, KD7QKU, Bert, N7CS, Bob, K9PQ, Wade, W7ITL, Jim, N7QO, James, WU7N, and myself, Dave, KD7CYM. Is there anybody else wanting to check in at this point? Hearing none, we'll get the net underway. Let's go up to Tacoma to Ron, KD7QKU. QKU, getting no audio, but thanks for trying to check in. Let's go to Bert, N7CS.
Okay, gotta remember how to work the radio from home. I've been gone too long. I think, Ron, you heard Dave there. We couldn't hear you, so must be some setting on your radio. But let's see what I have going on, make sure I'm transmitting. Okay, it looks like it. I went to go see the new Guardians of the Galaxy 3 movie last night. That was really cool. I think that was last night. I'm getting the days mixed up now. Also, yesterday there was a new Indian restaurant that opened near my house. The closest one, the other one, the nearest one besides this new one that opened was more than like 30 minutes away, so now I've got one that's 5 minutes away, so that was really nice. Their grand opening was yesterday, so that was pretty cool. My wife and I went there to try it out. Really crowded, so hopefully it'll stay and not go away. Let's see. Oh, there was a microwave spread today. I tried doing some stuff on 1.2 gigahertz, but I only have a vertical polarized antenna. Most of those guys are probably using horizontal, so I couldn't hear anybody, and I guess they couldn't hear me. So that was kind of a bust in that little microwave contest for me today. I need to hurry up and get my horizontal polarized antenna put up, but I just haven't got around to that yet. And let's see, that's probably it for this round. So this is Bert, back in Marysville, N7CS, back to that.
CS, let's backtrack to see if we can pick up Ron. KD7QKU.
Okay, KD7QKU, can you hear me? It was, I had put this Cat 5 cable on for an extension. Well, anyway, last weekend on Saturday, Armando came over with his brother Raymond, and they dug under my sidewalk and rotor hammered a hole in the curb, put in a drain, because I was accumulating water next to the trees, a row of trees there on the east side. Well, that worked fine. It was hard work for them, but they got it done. So after they were through, Joanne invited them in for ice cream and cookies. And I looked at Raymond, his brother, and I said, "Don't look like you feel very good." And he said, "No, I'm sicker than a dog." So he had a sore throat and cold. Guess what? I got a sore throat and a cold. I woke up Friday morning with a little sore throat, so I'm mostly just going to listen tonight. So anyway, back to net, KD7QKU.
QKU, thanks for that. Let's go to Bob in Bothell, K9BQ.
Hey, well, good evening, everybody. Nice to see everyone on tonight. And we had a good meeting this morning. One thing I did not get to is sending the email out for the presentation. I actually wasn't feeling too well today, so I'm not sure if I'm coming down with something, but I took a nap and I'm doing better. So we'll see. Just one of those things. Let's see what else is going on. It got to be pretty nice weather this afternoon. This morning not so much, but it warmed up and had some sunshine over this way. I don't know about you guys. Otherwise, not a heck of a lot to report here. I will send it back, and maybe I'll have something to say the next time around. K9PQ.
Let's go to Fantasy Football fan, Richard, K7ITX.
We got on discombobulated here. So anyway, oh, that's a bummer, Ron. Sorry about that. Gosh darn. Yeah, it's always something. I've just been lucky. Well, I avoid other people. I hate to admit that. I mean, not completely, of course, but I do have a wife, and I go to the grocery store. I have to pay the clerk. But let's see what's going on with us. The weird story, Ron, is, just down the street from you, my mother-in-law, lives at that Solstice by Point Defiance. And anyway, Debbie took her to Costco to get hearing aids. Well, okay, we learned quite a bit, or I helped her. She's learned quite a bit. First of all, before she took her mother, she should have talked to her about the kind of hearing aids she's going to get. She doesn't know how to work a smartphone, doesn't know any of those things, and so she was going to have to settle for just the plain Jane, run-of-the-mill hearing aids that clearly a lady who's quite vain would hate. So, but the good news is
news is, so they get to Costco, and so, you know, you gotta have a hearing aid test before you even get off. Well, first of all, there's a big questionnaire. I guess that was pretty traumatic. And then after that, then there's the hearing aid test. Or no, the hearing test. And so, well, yeah, without the hearing test, you can't get beyond, you can't even go to the next spot on the board. Well, her ears are so full of wax that there's no way. They could not only could they not test her hearing, she wasn't going to even be able to try out hearing aids. And so they made an an emergency visit to her doctor happened to be available. My mother-in-law's doctor in University Place. Evidently, he was able to, a regular doctor, about all most they can do is squirt water in your ear, flush it until, they're able to get most of it out, or if not all. That they were successful on one ear, but totally could not get anywhere on the other ear. And finally, the doctor said, "This is beyond our specialty. You need to go to an ear, nose, and throat doctor." Well, so that involves a referral, and so by my timing, with all the medical things I've seen around lately, and you guys probably know just as well as I do, referral to an ear, nose, and throat doctor, you're not going to see them in the next week or two. I think it's going to be more like maybe the next month or two if you're lucky. So this whole hearing aid thing is going to be put off for another day, and eventually Debbie will know better not to even go near Costco when her mom's ready for hearing aids until her mother understands she's going to have to buy the type, the old-fashioned kind, that you just have to manipulate. Well, trouble is, she has these fake fingernails, and she can't even work a smartphone anyway, let alone how is she ever going to push the little buttons on the hearing aid with these big giant fingernails. That's the main reason why she probably couldn't clean the wax out of her ears with eardrops. She couldn't squeeze the bottle with the, give me a break. It gets pretty sad when they get into this age bracket where, they want to still look like Miss America. So, anyway, that's my weird story for tonight. K7ITX back to net control.
7ITX, let's go to Wade, W7ITL.
ITL, I was wondering if somebody could switch me into RF to see if my video is going to come through. That's I don't think that's my signal. There we go. Let's see if I can get it a little better. That's about as good as it's going to get today, I think. It's a lot better than it was earlier. So, a good meeting this morning. So, happy about that. And the weather is just amazing today. Yeah, it was supposed to rain here in Tacoma, but it never did. Let's see, what did I do today? I'm going to break for just a moment. Let's see. I went to the radio club in Tacoma. There wasn't really a lot going on, so I didn't stick around very long. I just went upstairs, chit-chat with some of the guys. They're having a technician class downstairs, so the whole half of the building was full of people doing training. So, yeah, there wasn't really a place for me to sit. So I did that. I did some retro computer stuff and soldering. Let's see what else I do. I did some programming on reprogrammed a video card so that it would work in a Mac. It wasn't supposed to work in a Mac, so that was pretty cool. I got that working. Followed some guides and upgraded my Mac, one of my retro Macs, with a higher video card. Let's see else. Just getting ready to eat something. I didn't eat much today of anything, so I'm going to probably cut out. and probably come back in a half an hour. So let's see. Oh, Richard, that is, yeah, your mother-in-law and dealing with the hearing aids and the ear wax. Oof, sounds like a lot of waste of effort. That would frustrate me. So yeah, hats off to you having to do that and coming through without being too upset. Let's see, Ron. Sorry to hear you got sore throat. Sounds like you might be coming down with a cold. Let's see. That's it. All right. Well, thanks, guys.
W7ITL, thanks for that. And we get an ID here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the OA machine. Well, let's go to Covington to Jim N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Good evening, everyone. Well, Wade went to get something to eat. Yeah, I saw him. He's the only one wearing headphones, so I saw him, and then it switched to Bellevue Jim, and then back to him. Anyway, I saw him just fine on the 1.2 downlink. Ron, yeah, that's a bummer. And you're talking about going out and eating ice cream and something or other, just the way you express that. That reminds me of some dumb thing that happened to me. It was for sure more than 20 years ago, because I've been flying international for 20 years, so it was when I was flying domestically. I don't remember which state it was, but we got somewhere, and it was kind of like late in the day. We just wanted to get a beer and then go to bed. So we go to this restaurant, and for some reason they said, yeah, we can give you a beer, but you have to buy some kind of food. So I don't remember what my cohort said, what he ordered, but I ordered a dish of ice cream and a beer, and that was adequate to handle the state law. So that brings back some memories, Ron. I'm really sorry you got sick. Yeah, bummer. Dick, yeah, I think you're right in being careful. I certainly caught COVID from my wife last month, and I don't know. You got to be careful who you kiss. Maybe you wouldn't catch it if you got a wet kiss from Pippa. I don't know. That's all I can say about that. As for getting a doctor appointment, yeah, man, I'll tell you what, nowadays it's really challenging. At least it is for me. I don't know. Good luck with that. But I thought that now that hearing aids were available over the counter, a hearing test is no longer required. You just go and you order whatever you want. Maybe you could order them over Amazon or something. I don't know. Let's see. Well, that's all I got for now. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
QO. Let's go to James, WU7N.
Thank you, Dave. This is James, WU7N in Northeast Bellevue. How is the audio here? I'm trying to manage a couple of different speakers. Good, got the thumbs up. Well, all you sick people get better. I thought, after COVID got over, all medical illness was eradicated in the United States. I thought that's what was kind of implied by our president. And matter of fact, that was even months before it was really true. So now it must be true. But so I wish you guys, Ron and Jim, I hope you get better soon. There's a new digital feature. The last person that put audio into the digital channel has a big yellow ring around them, and it doesn't go away, and even after you have turned the microphone off. I don't know if that's just something what's happening at my end. This is a different computer. The computer I normally use is having problems with the VPN, so I'm using a little different computer, as I did this morning. But anyway, I don't know if anyone's noticed that or not. Stuff in the ear. Years ago, I had been exposed to some noises and some other things. I went to an ear specialist, and she was, it was scary but absolutely magic. She had essentially what amounted to kind of like a ground-off hypodermic needle attached to a vacuum, and I totally did this. I mean, she was so good. There was no anesthesia or anything, and my head was sort of down on its side, and she went in and vacuumed out all sorts of things in there. Yeah, it was, if you just didn't think about it, I mean, and then the weirdest thing is that she got it all out. She goes, "Oh, you're a pilot." And so she, sucked the little vacuum on my eardrum and manipulated it, which manipulated my inner ear, and the whole room started spinning around. Anyway, I asked her, I said, "Wow, this is really good. I mean, and she goes, "Oh, yeah, you needed to have that done because of my particular circumstances. I've been overseas and such, and I'm surprised they didn't pull out, creatures." I saw on YouTube where somebody pulled out, there was a special little tiny spider in the Deep South, and it gets into pitot tubes on airplanes. Jim probably knows all about this. And one got into a lady's ear. And actually, there's someone who had a little camera there that you pull all this stuff out, and finally there's a mama spider trying to defend itself that they had to pull out. So I didn't have anything like that, so I guess I have nothing to complain about. Report for Wade, your signal came through very well. Oh, Wade's not there. So anyway, it did when I switched that over. Ron, yours wasn't quite as good, but it was definitely there. So anyway, one other thing too. The last time we spoke, we were concerned about artificial intelligence and how it's likely that will restructure our entire society in the coming decade or two. Now, there's a complete satire article on this that said they went and called IBM. Somebody they never heard of answered the phone before and said that, IBM's recommendation was that AI was completely harmless and that we should probably give all the nuclear codes to AI. And then they showed a picture of a guy in a lab coat with the head of the Terminator had answered the phone. Not satire, but if you went to AI, I think they did go to the GPT, artificial intelligence, large-scale language model. They must have asked it, well, who should we entrust with the ultimate power and defense of our society so that we can manage this emerging technology? It obviously should be someone who's extremely knowledgeable, academically qualified, would know a great deal about computer science as well as the social implications. And it answered back Kamala Harris. And so now Kamala Harris is, check this out. Now, I don't know about the first part, but Kamala Harris is the new AI czar right now. That is something that just broke in the news today. But whether they really ask AI, GPT or not, I don't know. Anyway, that's my news to cheer you up today. This is James, WW7N in Northeast Bellevue. Take it away, Dave.
7N, thanks for that. And it's ID time again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7ZYM. Well, here in Lake City, I got 56 degrees, and it's drizzling outside, overcast. That's the weather. And I'd get back to Richard with his ear problems going on. You can go to the drugstore and get an ear wax removal kit, and it consists of hydrogen peroxide and an ear syringe. And basically, I've gone through the process several times. I get to build up a lot of wax myself. And you get an eyedropper and you squeeze the hydrogen peroxide into the ear, one side to the other, and let it sit there for about 15 minutes. Then you get out the ear syringe and you fill that with hot water and just keep blasting away at the ear. When you do put the peroxide in your ear, you'll hear a snap, crackle, pop. It sounds like Rice Krispies, but it does clear out the channel. Sometimes you have to take 2 or 3 times, maybe even an hour worth of soaking your ears, and that seems to help. And for ice cream, I watched something on television this afternoon. There's a firm in Spokane that has garlic ice cream, and they were having people sample it, and they said, it doesn't taste too bad. But one woman said it'd be better with beer, but I guess anything can go better with beer. But anyway, that was kind of interesting. And I hope Ron gets feeling a little bit better. There's nothing worse than having a sore throat. But if you're going to be inside, this is the weather to be inside. You've got to get outside when that sunshine hits and enjoy weather. So that's about it. This is Dave, KD7CYM in Lake City. So let's go back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
Okay, KD7QKU here. Well, Dave, it's like we live in different worlds. I have blue sky and sunshine. Of course, the sun is setting, and I haven't had any rain. So it's amazing. Richard, that reminds me of a joke, I guess. I don't know where I saw it. Maybe it was in the ear, nose, and throat office. But this old guy said to your wife, "Can you hear me?" And so then he moved up to about 20 feet and he said, "Can you hear me?" And then he moved up to about 10 feet and he said, "Can you hear me?" And then he walked up and he tapped her on the shoulder and said, "Can you hear me?" And she said for the 4th time, "Yes." So anyway, I think maybe he had wax in his ears too. So back to Nat, KD7QKU.
Let's go to Bert, N7CS.
Okay, well, let's see. I was going to say a couple things, but James and Dave stole a little bit of my thunder here, but so maybe I'll just say this. One of my friends, he went to med school, and and when he was ready to start seeing patients for the first time, I forget what they call that, internship or residency or something, one of his first patients had some kind of insect crawling in his ear, and he didn't know how to get that insect out. He was trying to catch it with tweezers, and that just was not working. So he didn't know what to do, so he paged one of the senior doctors at 1 a.m. or something like that. And the doctor came down and was very, very upset. It's like, "Why did you page me for this? All you have to do is squirt a little bit of water in there, and that insect will come crawling right out of there as fast as it can." But so that's a little story there. But I guess another story is, I also have that wax buildup that happens, and usually about once a year I have to go into the doctor to get them to flush it out with that peroxide warm water solution. But the very first time I ever had to do that, it was sometime in the late 90s. And I was in Florida. I went there to go watch a space shuttle launch for the first time. And it's the day before the launch, my ear got clogged up and I couldn't hear a thing. And it's I didn't want to fly all the way down here to hear a space shuttle launch and then not even be able to hear it. So I went to one of those 24/7 urgent care clinics or whatever. Well, that guy, he was using some kind of instrument with sharp hooks and stuff to try to get the wax out. And yeah, that was pretty terrible. Luckily that never happened again. That was the first time I ever had it done. So I didn't know you could get it done by just squirting the high pressure water. But I definitely don't want them ever sticking sharp things in my ear again. Anyway, this is Bert and Marysville, N7CS, back to net.
N7CS. Well, let's go to Bob and Bothell, K9PQ.
You guys have all convinced me. I'm going to just ignore my ears entirely. I don't want to know what's in there. If I don't know anything's wrong, nothing's wrong, right? I think that's what. And yeah, as far as vanity, when I start losing these looks, that's going to be a tough time for me. I'll have to deal with it when the time comes. But and ice cream. I tried vegan ice cream the other day, and it was surprisingly good, almost as good as regular ice cream. They use coconut butter to replace the butter fat, the cream, and this particular one had tahini in it, which I mentioned to my brother, and he said that adds more body as well as a little bit of a nutty flavor. So, and of course I chose the chocolate which, you know, almost anything is good with chocolate, so that helped to make it good. But I actually enjoyed it. I still prefer the real thing, but it was surprisingly good. What else? Oh yeah, the AI thing. Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't say Skynet is active when you asked it about you know, who best to control, you know, at IBM. And the head spinning, I've had that happen to me a few times, not very many, about 3 times in my life, where you get some kind of a inner ear, I don't know if it's an infection exactly, maybe just some fluid or something, but you get vertigo, and if I stayed perfectly still, I was fine, but if I moved at all, everything started spinning, and so I stayed in bed for, I would say, probably 1 full day and a good part of the next day, you know, outside of just, you know, necessary having to get out. Otherwise, I stayed in bed and stayed as motionless as I could. And I was fine as long as I did that. But, boy, you did not want to make any sudden movements. Okay, well, that's good for now, I think. I'll send it back. K9PQ.
Thanks for that. And the clock says it's time for another ID. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, KD7CYM. Well, let's go to Kent, to Richard, K7ITX.
Well, all this business about spiders, you know, I'm sure I told this story to you guys before, but I'll just make it real quick about this big giant wolf spider in the bedroom. You know, they're pretty good size. You know, they look terrifying. But so I thought, well, I got to kill this spider. It's, you know, I don't want it creeping around at night when we're in bed. And so I grabbed a shoe. But it was fast. I couldn't, you know, I'm trying to hit it with the heel of the shoe, but he made it into the closet, and once he got in the closet with all the junk on the floor in there's no way I was going to get him. So, anyway, I went to bed, and of course, you know, I start dreaming about spiders. and I dreamed that the spider literally climbed into my ear, just like you guys are talking about. And so, you know how when you're dreaming, sometimes you kind of act it out, you know, you might actually start walking in bed or flailing your arm. Well, I was in bed, and I literally remember in my dream trying to, you know, get the spider that was in my ear, you know, chase it is in this dream. But then I woke up, and I had my finger literally in my ear from the dream, and then I pulled my finger, and there was a spider. It was real life. It was a total freak out that this wolf spider had come back for his revenge. And at that point, I just threw him away. But so I had to tell that. If you remember that story, I had to retell it. It's too hard to believe. I mean, but it's true. Trust me, it's really true. K7ITX back to net control.
TX. Well, let's see if Wade's with us. W7ITL. Seeing an image for Wade. Let's move on down to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, Dick, I would say, yeah, that spider was definitely out to get you. He probably knew that you intended to cause him to evict him from your property, and he didn't want to have any part of that. So he was out to get you there. It's interesting, probably your subconscious realized there's this spider crawling on you, and so it implanted this vision in your brain to equate with reality. I don't know. Funny how our mind works sometimes, and then sometimes it's kind of maybe not so funny how at least my brain doesn't work. What can I say? Well, let's see. People are talking about the weather. Right now I have 56 degrees here. It is not precipitating now. I did have a couple of periods of rain during the day. It was okay when we finished our morning meeting, but then during the day it came down for a couple of hours maybe, and then it was dry for, I don't know, 1 or 2 hours, and then it started again, but now it stopped again, so that's it's okay. No significant accumulation today though, just very light. But you definitely get wet if you stood outside for a while. I just went to get the mail, and it's like, should have taken an umbrella with me. And Jim, I did not hear about that. Kamala Harris, thank you for mentioning that. I don't know. There are so many positions where people who are not technically qualified wind up in the position. I'm sure all of us have seen that before. I don't know exactly what to say. Maybe if you hire people who know what they're doing and you can just supervise them, maybe that would be adequate. Oh well, we'll just have to see what happens. Thanks for mentioning that. KD7ZYM and 7QO.
7QO, let's go to James, WU7N.
Well, I don't know if this is going to work or not, but I'm going to give this a shot. Because you guys you have to, I guess it isn't. Well, anyway, the thing that Spider obviously was trying to do when it crawled up to your ear, Richard, was it was probably trying to whisper into your ear while you slept. Spiders are nice. Leave the spiders alone. They're very nice. The only other thing I can think of it would probably say is something like, remember me? So, well, anyway, I think animals are way more intelligent than we give them credit for. Someone else's cat, and the first day was the evening I came in, and I had met the cat a couple of times before I got all acclimated to it, and I thought it acclimated to me, but when I walked in, it came yowling down the hallway, of course thinking its regular owner had come home. And the piece of the puzzle was fit in for me today when I talked to the owner about the cat. Was the cat okay and everything? Well, that cat, she got that cat just about 6 months into COVID. So the cat only knows life with the person in the house at all times, constantly, giving attention and, being around the person being around the cat while she worked at her desk. So when she left, I guess this animal was really kind of upset. If I'm the one that was feeding it, that it would have, gotten used to me. It didn't. We had to start playing this game where I'd find a new hiding place, newer, better hiding place every time I would come into the house, and I would always want to make sure it was okay, so I would look for it. So it had me trained pretty well by Sunday, looking for it. Well, when she came home, she calls me on the phone. She goes, "Where's the cat?" And so I said, "Well, it's in there. I know. I was there less than an hour and a half ago because I didn't know if her flight was going to be delayed or not." Anyway, I searched and played the little game of hide and seek and found it and said, "No, it's over here." I shined the flashlight on where it was hiding. And it took a couple of days, and then all of a sudden the cat was just like Velcro on her, like, don't ever leave me again. So I don't know. It's interesting how animals are pretty smart. They have personalities. I don't know if I was, around someone from the time I was in a household up and then all of a sudden left and some other person's feeding me, maybe that would upset me too. I don't know. Anybody who gives me food is my friend, so maybe the cat's smarter than I am. This is James, WW7N in Northeast Bellevue with the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Let's turn it back to Dave.
WW7N, and it's time for an ID again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'll pause in case anybody else wants to join in. Not hearing any. This is Dave, KD7ZYM. We're talking about animals. It reminded me of a story when I was working in television. A reporter came in. He had a beautiful house down on the water on Lake Union, a houseboat. And all of a sudden there was this creature crawling under the carpet in the houseboat. And he come to the conclusion it was a rat. So being a golfer, he got out his golf clubs and I guess just beat the schmack out of the rat right through the carpet. But anyway, when he went to retrieve the rat, it wasn't there. So I don't know what he beat up. But it was kind of an interesting story of maybe yes, maybe no. Anyway, so much for that animal story. Well, this is Dave, KD7ZYM. So let's go back up to Ron, KD7QKU.
KD7QKU here. Well, I thought you were going to tell me when he raised up the carpet, he found his dead cat or something. But I guess not. All right, you guys. Well, I'm just going to more or less listen. Wade was there for a minute, but he disappeared again. So just back to net, KD7QKU.
QKU. Let's go to Bert, N7CS.
Okay, let's see. Yeah, I forgot to mention, Dave earlier mentioned garlic ice cream. I think I will just say no thank you to that. And let's see. What else is new? I got a new smartwatch. I don't know if you can see it in the display here, but it has multiple faces. You can change it up, but it's the new Samsung, or I guess it's not new, but it's Samsung Galaxy Watch 5 Pro Edition. It's got a lot of different biosensors in there, but one thing that's a bit annoying to me is apparently if you want to use the blood pressure or ECG sensors in it, you have to actually own a Samsung phone. It won't work with any other Android phone. So I have like a Google Pixel phone. It specifically will not allow you to use those two sensors with a non-Samsung phone. It has SpO2, I can do that. It has pulse rate, I can do that, but not blood pressure and ECG. And there's really no reason for it because there's nothing special about Samsung phones. There's no like special chip or anything like that requires it. They're just being, I can't think of a a word that would be nice to say on ham radio to say what they're being about it. But let's see what else we have going on. So I was playing with Google's AI while we were chatting there because James got me all kind of interested. I was trying to just think of things like, okay, I was asking it, like, how can we safeguard an AI? Or like how can we keep an AI safe so that it doesn't do bad things? And so I asked it, is Isaac Asimov's laws of robotics good? And it said, well, it's a good starting point, but they're kind of really open to interpretation. For example, don't injure a human. What does that really mean? That can mean so many different things. Let me let it drop. So I was a little surprised by that response, but I said, okay, well, what about Robocop's prime directives? Robocop's got some pretty simple prime directives. If you don't recall those, it's like serve the public trust, protect the asset, uphold the law. And the AI seemed to like that a lot better. It said, yes, the Robocop systems are pretty good because it's a good starting point there, better than Isaac Asimov because it's very specific, not open to as much interpretation. Although the downside is it's more meant for like a police officer, which doesn't really fit what we're trying to do. But they say, yeah, ultimately some kind of combination of Isaac Asimov's laws and the Robocop's prime directives and could be a good thing to do. But yeah, I thought that was just kind of fun. I also asked him, like, what are the top 10 smartest animals in order of intelligence, and luckily humans made it to number 1. I was going to be a little upset if we didn't make it number 1 there, but yeah, the rest is pretty as expected. Anyway, this is Burton Marysville, N7CS, back to that.
7CS, let's go to Bob, K9PQ in Bottle.
Well, first thing I'll say right off the bat is, humans made it to number 1 as a complete species, but that doesn't mean all humans have made it to number 1 on that list. And the Samsung Watch thing, that is really, what a pain. And it reminds me of the Toyota thing that came out, it was, 6 months ago, a year ago, I've forgotten exactly how long, where one of the basic functions, I want to say remotely opening your doors, was tied to the entertainment system, and this entertainment system it was free for a year, then it required a paid subscription. So all of a sudden, these Toyota owners, after a year, they couldn't remotely open their doors anymore, and they, made a big fuss about it, and I believe Toyota finally backed down and decoupled the two. But man, what a pain, and it's only going to get worse. Everything is a subscription now. Everything. They're trying to get everything to be a subscription. You don't just buy things anymore. You get a subscription to use things, and that is a pet peeve of mine. And yeah, as far as animals being less intelligent than people give credit, I see your point there, James. But I see a lot of people that give their pets way too much credit for intelligence, and treat them like people when they're not people. As much as you might love them, they're not people. But people will do that, and whether it comes to dressing them up or talking to them or what have you, it's pretty funny. And okay, I admit it. This is coming from somebody that does talk to his cat. But I don't expect him to understand or to speak back. But it's a bit like talking to yourself, but not quite as embarrassing. Okay, with that, I'll send it back to Ned, K9PQ.
PQ, let's go to Richard, K7ITX.
Boy, Bob, you really hit a sore subject with me on these subscriptions. I mean, I'm one of these guys. I'm still using the 2004 version of Acrobat Adobe, and probably 2006, maybe 2008. Could be a little bit older than that, or newer than that. Microsoft Word or Microsoft Office in general. I've still got the non-subscription to those, and Quicken for them, and none of these I refuse. In fact, I have a lot of other programs like that I can't really think of off the top of my head, but it is one reason why I have this. You hear about people that hoard things. Well, I hoard computer boxes. I have, my original 386 that I bought back in 1988, and I refuse to let it go. I don't know. I mean, well, first of all, it's got, what was that program I really liked? Oh, yeah, Sound Blaster Pro. And Sound Blaster Pro had some really fun things. It had the talking parrot. I don't know if you guys remember the talking parrot. You just touch the keyboard and he laughs and giggles and says all a lot of smart things. Or that psychiatrist, Mr. Shabasco. You would ask him, he'd start off the program. Oh no, Commodore. You would literally, Dr. Shabasco on my 386 would start off and he'd introduce himself. How may I help you? What are your problems? Please explain them. Well, it was kind of a weird AI, but I I think it was more of an analog sort of AI, and eventually, oh yeah, you couldn't get him to swear. If you tried to make him swear, or if you swore at him, he would just, he'd fly off the handle, So, gosh, and then there was a lot of games. Dune, I loved playing Dune and that was I don't know if that was my 386. There's so many in between. Well, the 386 is where it learned how to even function with a computer. Models after that was actually, they got to be kind of, not as fun, actually, more work-like, and all in reading and the internet and things of that nature. But, when I first got my 386, I had no idea. It took me like, I don't know, 8, 10, 12 hours to do anything. Because I didn't buy anything to teach me how to do it. It was nutty. But everyone said, well, you need to get games. Just play games. And so I would download all kinds of games off, like, Jessica's Meat Market bulletin board. I'd download games off of that. I remember Commander Keen was a big one to play back in the old days. But there were some non-Windows. Windows wasn't quite available yet. These games would actually eventually teach you how to use DOS. And if you learn how to use DOS, then everything else, including Windows, started to fall into place. And to this day, I have no problem going into I can't even remember what they call it, the command part of your computer, where you can actually ruin it if you're not careful. but there's a lot of people that wouldn't dare do that. In fact, there's so many warnings on your machine, don't go in there, but I don't know. It was a good experience, but heaven forbid if I ever throw these things away. I keep telling my wife that one day I'll have them all set up all at the same time, and show her which one can do what, where the others cannot. But yeah, no, I'm down on subscriptions. I can't even think of one that I have at this point, and I don't know how I've been this lucky. I'll continue on that basis and see what happens. K7ITX. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to have to say goodbye. I'm about at the end of the rope, and it's great to see you guys. So anyway, I'll listen on out. K7ITX, back to net control. Bye-bye.
ITX. Well, let's go to Wade, W7ITL.
W7ITL. I'm just going to be real quick here. I think we'll call this kind of an in and out round for myself. It was nice seeing everybody tonight, and we'll say 73. W7ITL, back to net.
W7ITL 73 we got. Thank you. Let's go to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO, thank you, Dave. Good night, Wade. Good night, Dick. Well, let's see. Jim, making friends with a cat. I have a friend of mine who every night at about 9:30 he gives to his two cats a product which they advertise where the cats leap high into the air and do a somersault and come down. They're called Temptations. I don't know what's in them, but the cats seem to love them. And if you find yourself in a predicament with an unfriendly cat and wish the cat were more affectionate toward you, just get some of those Temptations and see if that does the trick. But if you don't care, then that's okay too. On the other hand, the owner may come home and be amazed that the cat is more attracted to you than the owner. So that's the other side of the coin there. Dave, rats under carpets. Man, I would say so much for golf clubs being an effective weapon. Need something with more mass, maybe like a baseball bat or something. That's when you whack the thing with a golf club and it runs away. Wow. Interesting story. And garlic ice cream, yeah, I was thinking about that. It initially sounded absolutely revolting, but I could see maybe with some pizza or something, have a spoon of garlic ice cream, and maybe would help the pizza a little bit, or just my thought. So I guess everything has some redeeming value. Let's see, Bert. I don't know about that watch. Maybe you should give some consideration to returning it for a refund. It sounds like Samsung is discouraging, say, iPhone users from purchasing their product. I don't know, when they make it so that it's only compatible with their own product, that could be beneficial to them, or it could be detrimental. And I think if it's not detrimental to them financially, then they're just going to persist in doing that sort of thing. Anyway, good luck with whatever you do with that. And yeah, Bert, your AI chat question and that what the computer told you, I think we're screwed. I don't know what when the how do you define harming a person? That's what AI says over the chat. We're screwed. I don't know. Back to you, Dave, N7QO.
QO, let's go to James in Bellevue, WU7N.
Try to share that picture that Richard's experienced there. That's what I imagine happened there. But well, anyway, let's see. The other thing I was going to say is, Bert, thank you very much, because this you typed the question into the ChatGPT bot and it came up with that answer. That's a very reasonable answer. That's actually an excellent technical writing answer. It's not exactly what the United States did, but it's still a good answer. As I recall, the novel I, Robot, the conflict, and as that novel unfolded, was because the robots literally interpreted those rules that were to protect humanity. And also, the movie Eagle Eye kind of took off with that same idea. In that case, the AI was one built by the Defense Department, and so the AI literally interpreted all of America's legal documents, including the Constitution, and made decisions based on that from a computer perspective were not bad ones. It just meant there had to be a regime change. But not necessarily somebody else's regime, ours. So that's a very good movie. But when it it comes to cats and intelligence, there was a very excellent written sci-fi short story where cats were genetically engineered to talk. And they were also genetically engineered to be intelligent, but they were still cats. And so as the story unfolds there, you find out that the people think that the cat is the cat just in my house, but the cats are sneaking out and all getting together and talking about, well, you know, kind of what's best for us. When it comes to golf clubs as a vicious weapon, that brings up the great debate of the century, mass versus speed. When the knights went on the Crusades, they had big, scary, mean swords, and they had armor, but the armor was heavy, and the swords were heavy, and they couldn't move them as quickly. Whereas the Ottomans, they didn't have any armor at all, but they had very lightweight swords that could move very quickly. And it turned out quickly, sharp, moving fast beats slow but well armored. Because of course you couldn't possibly armor everything. The horse had some armor on it, but not every place, and the guy couldn't armor everything. So that was I would imagine, a learning experience for the Crusaders. Whiskey Uniform 7 November. Let's turn it back to Dave for a closeout here.
WW7ATS, thanks for that. And it is time to close out the net. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. We'd like to thank the SeaTac Repeater Association for letting us use WW7STR's repeater 147.08 for our voice transmissions. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave signing off the net. Good evening all.